Hi everybody, welcome to week 1 ELA instructional video for Monday. So I have a special before we get started. I have a special little guest that decided to come downstairs and sit with me. Oh, I'm gonna drop it. Hey, Thor. Say hello. Yes, he's saying hi. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so these are our classroom expectations. So even though we're not in a classroom like an actual building, we're still in a classroom online. So there still are expectations that things I expect of you while you are working online. So the first thing is to be ready to persevere. That means keep trying when things get hard. So if you're having a hard time with something, you're not just going to give up. The next one is be prepared for class. Have your materials with you. When you sit down with the computer, have your notebooks and your pencil ready to learn. The next thing is, move this, be kind, be friendly, and be respectful of your classmates, especially when we're doing discussions, when you're commenting on each other's posts, make sure that you're being respectful and kind at all times. And of course, be kind to me. And then the last one is be patient. Work through things when you can and wait quietly until I can help you. Well, you're at home, so you can't really wait quietly. But if we're doing a live lesson, like we're doing a live lesson and you need help, you could just raise your hand or you can just wait, until if I'm helping other people, you have to wait until it's your turn. Okay, so last year we used Unravel. This year we're going to use Unwrap. So we're kind of making it a little bit more, we're doing a little more with our text since we're in 4th grade now. So the U in Unwrap stands for underline the title, N, number the paragraphs, W, walk through the questions and answers. That means just like quickly look through them the first time, read the passage, then you're going to answer the questions. You're going to eliminate wrong answer choices. So you're going to put an X by the wrong answers, and then you're going to prove your answers. So that means you're going to go back and look for text evidence in the text and underline where you found your answer. All of you guys know this because we did this last year. So none of this is new. So vocabulary strategies. So as you're reading, if there's words that you don't know what they are, you don't know what they mean, these are some strategies you can use to help you figure that out. So the first question is this a word I should try to understand or is it not important here? For example, if it is somebody's name, it doesn't really matter what that person's name is. If their name is, I don't know, if it's a name you've never heard before, then just put a name in there. You can call them Bob, you can call them Mary, whatever you want. But if it's a name, just keep moving. Can I use my own logic to figure out what it means? So using the clues that or things that you already know to help you figure that out. Do the surrounding sentences provide any clue to the meaning? So sometimes you can use context clues within the text that will help you figure out what the word means. Do you recognize any word parts? So is there a suffix or a prefix or the root word, anything in the word that will help you figure out what it means? I'm sorry if you can hear that. That's Theodore running up and down the stairs. Does the author provide information anywhere else? So sometimes the author will tell what the word means later in the text or earlier in the text. So sometimes you just have to look through the whole text to try to figure out what the word means. So these are our vocabulary words for this week. So you can thank Miss Lovering. She's the one that came up with these pictures. I think they're great. So the first word is accountable. So I'd like you to say the word with me as you're watching. So accountable. Accountable means that you're responsible for one's actions or decisions. So for example, Sam and Reese are accountable for washing their dog every week. So that means that they are responsible for their actions. The next word is advise. Advise means to offer suggestions for the best choice. So our sentence is, a swim coach will advise you on how to improve your swimming. The next word is desperately. Desperately is a way of showing worry or fear. Laurel desperately looked all over her back patio for her house keys. The next word is hesitated. Hesitated means you pause before saying or doing something. So Zakari hesitated before he answered his final math question. I'm pretty sure this is the last word, humiliated. Humiliated means feeling very embarrassed. Jonah was humiliated after he got out during Foursquare. Oh, there's one more word. The next word is inspiration. Inspiration means finding a brilliant idea from someone or something. The room was filled with inspiration to write after they heard the speaker's story. Okay, so our power standard for this week, let me move this, is describe in depth a character, setting, or event in a story or drama, drawing on specific details in the text. For example, a character's thoughts, words, or actions. So this is a little bit more than what we did last year. So you're not just saying who the character is, what the setting is, you're giving me more specific information. And then the culminating task, which is what you should be able to do by the end of this week, is how do the traits, motivations, and feelings of characters shape the sequence of events in the story? So this is our learning progression or our learning rubric. So as you can see, we're going to start just like if we're making an ice cream cone. We're going to start with just the cone. Cone is the most basic piece that we need to have an ice cream cone. So this is really what we're focusing on today's lesson, which is I can describe a character's feeling in the story. So as the week goes on, we're going to build from that every day until we have this beautiful ice cream cone with the cherry on top. So let's look forward to what we have to do tomorrow. So tomorrow, we're still describing how a character, but we're describing how the character is motivated by their feelings. By Wednesday, we should be able to describe how characters' motivation influences their actions throughout the story. And then by Thursday, we should be able to describe the character's resolution based on their traits, motivations, and feelings. So you can see as the week goes on, we just build and build and build. Okay, so today's daily question is, and at the end of this lesson, just like we did in math, we are going to do this in our reading journal. So every time you sit down for a lesson, you need your reading journal. So today's daily question is, how does Elena feel about being excluded from baseball with her brother? So once you read you're going to read a text on your own that's called, it's called baseball something, I don't remember the name of it, but we'll get there. You're going to answer this question using that text. Okay, so the text we're going to read together is called The Talent Show. So for today, since we're coming back to school and warming our brains back up, I am going to go ahead and read this with you. It is also going to be posted on Schoology, but it will be like different. It's a little bit more complicated to post it. Actually, I'm not going to post it on Schoology. If you want to come back and refer to it, you can come back to this video and just pause it and read through it. That'll probably be the easiest way. So before we start reading, we're going to skim through our text. We're going to think, is this fiction or is this nonfiction? Or remember, fiction means it's fake, it's a made-up story, whereas nonfiction is real. So I can tell by looking at the cartoon pictures, and the name of the text is The Talent Show. I see at the beginning they're talking about somebody named Tina. So I can infer that this is a fictional text, but it's realistic fiction, which means it could happen. It's not like flying spaceships and aliens and that couldn't happen. This is something that actually could happen. So looking at the text, I see just from looking at the pictures that this is probably about two girls. They look like third or fourth grade age. And it looks like from the picture, they look like they're friends in this picture. All right, let's jump right in. So the text says, Tina, there's a school talent show in 3 weeks. I shouted to my best friend. My older brother had been teaching me juggling, and I knew he'd help me with my act for the show. Tina ran over to the bulletin board and read the poster. Maura, what's our act going to be? Tina asked me. Our act, I said, taking a tighter grip on my books. Tina grinned, pointed to the poster and said, it says acts can be individuals, partners, or small groups. My grip on my books became uncomfortably tight. You want to do an act together? It'll be fun, Tina said. I hesitated for a second before continuing. I've got an idea, and Tina interrupted me. Yeah, me too. Let's talk at lunch. During math, I tried to think of how I would tell Tina that I wanted to do my own act. After all, we are best friends. We should be able to see eye to eye about this. The problem is, Tina always takes charge. I don't speak up, and then I end up feeling resentful about the whole situation. I desperately wanted to win, but it was more than that. I wanted to win on my own with an act that was all mine. Okay, so let's take apart what we've read so far. So how does Maura feel about oh, we haven't got that far yet. Never mind, we got to read this. So before we go into these questions, let's think. What's the problem so far? The problem is Maura wants to do the talent show on her own, but Tina is saying that they're going to do it together. So that's the problem so far. Let's keep reading. Tina, there's a school talent show in 3 weeks. I shouted to my best friend. My older brother had been teaching me. Did I just read this? I just read this. Oops, I just read this. Okay. So we did just talk about what the problem was. So Maura feels like she wants to do the talent show by herself. But Tina says that she wants to do it together. What does the word resentful mean as it is used in this text? So the author is saying Tina usually kind of takes control of the situation, and then Maura feels bad about it later. She feels resentful about it later, which I know means that she's going to feel bad about it later. Okay, so now we're going to fill out our graphic organizer. You are going to be doing this with the other text in your notebook, and then you can either share it during the live lesson, or your parents can take a picture and send it to me, whichever is going to be most convenient for you, but I do want to see that you've practiced. So we're going to figure out who is the main character. Is the main character Maura, or is the main character Tina? Well, it sounds like at the beginning, it sounds like Maura is the one narrating the story, and she's in the story. She's telling her perspective. So I think that Maura is the main character. So as we fill in this chart, we're going to fill in this chart with the main character. So let's think I got to move this. So we're going to fill out what the character wants or needs, their feelings, their actions, and their traits. So remember, these are some feelings that we may have. So sometimes you might feel anxious. Naughty means you're not making the right choices. Stubborn, impatient, sensitive, intelligent, nice, nervous, emotional, bad-tempered, mean, distracted, dishonest, rude, discreet, crazy, untidy, cheeky, I don't know what that one is, cheerful, energetic, optimistic, pessimistic, unpleasant, talkative, calm, passionate, proud. So those are all some feelings or emotions that you might have. So I went ahead and filled this in with all information about Maura. So Maura's wants or needs are that Maura wants to do the talent show alone. Maura needs to be honest with Tina and tell her that she wants to do the talent show by herself. So I know this because she's gripping her books tightly. She's thinking of ways to talk to Tina. So that text evidence helps me know that she is wanting to do the talent show by herself, and she's starting to get a little upset. Her feelings that are in the text is that she's excited about the talent show, but she feels awkward about talking to Tina about it. And she's nervous about talking to Tina. Some character traits that we saw in the text is that she's shy. She's kind because she's thinking about how Tina's gonna feel, and maybe she's being dishonest because she's not telling Tina how she really feels about the talent show. Okay, so your assignment is going to be, you're going to read baseball lessons, which I will post that on Schoology, and you're going to create the character chart in your notebook, which is this chart. And then you're going to show me that during the live lesson that you completed the chart. So you're going to read baseball lessons, and you're going to fill out this chart with the main character's information in your notebook. Also, for today, you're going to answer the daily question in your notebook. So you're going to tell me, how does Elena feel about being excluded from baseball with her brother? Remember, you're using the baseball lessons text. Okay, that's Monday's lesson. Come back for Tuesday. We're going to keep reading the talent show.